laughs we create. Life's full of worries, thoughts running wild. But here's where you pause, let it rest for a while. Ever feel like you're caught in the noise? Every thought on replay, every choice. Here's a place to unwind, no judgment, just flow. A break from the pressure, a lighter road to go. Whether you're deep in thought, or just need to laugh, this is Don't Overthink, a change from the past. So kick back, relax, take a breath, don't stress. Here every idea finds time to express. It's more than a podcast, it's your space to be. No right, no wrong, just setting thoughts free. Ever feel like you're caught in the noise? Every thought on replay, every choice. Here's a place to unwind, no judgment, just flow. A break from the pressure, a lighter road to go. Whether you're deep in thought or just need to laugh, but this is Don't Overthink, a change from the past. So kick back, relax, take a breath, don't stress. Here every idea finds time to express. It's more than a podcast, it's your space to be. No right, no wrong, just setting thoughts free. Don't overthink, and let your mind grow.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Overthink It. As always, I am your host. I'm here with Irish, and today we have a special guest, the one and only Lieutenant Dan Legs, also known as Leg7 on YouTube. We hope you stay tuned in and enjoy the episode.
Welcome, man. Welcome, everybody. Dan, what's up, dude? Glad to have you, man.
Hanging out. Glad to be here, buddy. Honored you guys would
So
invite
we're just gonna, just have a normal little conversation, ask you a couple questions or whatever, and just kind of pick your mind or whatnot on different topics. Mainly stick it to, where we all kind of have a common ground with gaming, streaming, type stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
So it should be a fun night. So,
yeah.
But first, I wanted to say thank you for joining us. I know it's kind of weird, I guess, to come on to something like this, and it's kind of interesting to put something on like this. So I wanted to thank you one more time for joining us today.
Yeah, no worries. I'm excited to be here.
So, yeah. So before we begin and get into the conversation, so tell us a little bit about yourself and just a little bit about your streaming background, your gaming background, just different things like that. How long you've been playing?
Oh man, so let's see. I played my first video game. It was probably 1989, and it was the original Mario Brothers. I'll never forget my older brother, Greg, brought his regular Nintendo over to our house and hooked it up to the TV. And we had one of those floor model big screens that where your guy was like 7 inches, tall on there. And at that point right there, I think that's when I fell in love with gaming. Just vibing out with my dad and my brothers. And we were laughing. And of course, my mom and my sister-in-laws, and them, they had no idea why we were having such a good time. But I think that's where it started. And it's grown since then.
Now, if you had to go and pick a certain genre of video game, is there one specific one that you're like, okay, this is my go-to, or are you just kind of all over the place?
I like the ones I really like are ones with good story modes. Like, in my opinion, there's nothing better than just sitting down and just vibing out and playing a game with a cool story mode. In my opinion, the first one that did that was probably Zelda: A Link to the Past. That has to be like my all-time.
I was about to say Zelda's probably the number one.
Yeah, that's my favorite genre. And A Link to the Past on Super Nintendo, that was by far my favorite game that I played ever as a kid. Other than that, no, I'm up for anything as long as it's fun. Like I enjoy playing with my homies, on first-person shooters, and I enjoy playing by myself sometimes. It just, I guess it just goes to what mood you're in that day when you wake up.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I'm exactly where you are. The first video game I played, 1989, Super Mario Brothers. That's what pretty much got me into gaming as well. And I've just been hooked ever since. And for a long time, because we're old school people, so, you didn't have multiplayer online gaming back in the day. So all you did was basically play a bunch of campaigns and stuff like that.
Yep.
So that's where my love, my love of the story, like you said, that's where that came from too, because majority of my life, that's all we did. And so back then, when I was probably a teenager back then, it was mainly like the Resident Evils were real popular. But I loved all of them. And then from there, I got into Assassin's Creed and their stories and stuff like that. And then eventually moved into multiplayer with Halo 3 and, Call of Duty and everything.
Right. Yeah, I never played much Halo. I was big on Assassin's Creed. I was big on the Resident Evils. I played Final Fantasy VII, the original one that was like 5 discs long on PlayStation 1. But I think that's the only Final Fantasy game I ever liked, or game like that I enjoyed. I can remember being
I don't think I've ever played it.
And our multiplayer was you took a piece of cardboard, and when split screen was finally invented, and you put a piece of cardboard between your parents would tape it to the TV, and so that you couldn't screen peek. Because if you were on the bottom, you were looking up at the person screen peeking, and they were looking down.
Yeah, I remember back in probably I don't know exactly what year it was. The original Xbox, I believe, when it first came out, it was right before they came out with online multiplayer. We would get a bunch of friends to all come over and bring their consoles, and we would do the LAN party or whatever, and just link all the consoles together and play Big Red 1, Call of Duty Big Red 1 against each other. That was kind of our multiplayer before there was actual multiplayer.
So just a quick moment to touch back on something you guys said. First of all, in '89, I was only a year old, and then the whole cardboard split screen thing. You had to use clear tape to tape it to the screen, or else you were losing out on the bottom portion of your screen, which kind of bugged me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
the split screen had to be done correctly, or else it wasn't going to work, and you get frustrated and siblings start fighting, which is fine.
My little brother was the worst screen peeker in history. Like, he just you blatantly catch him. You're like, I wasn't screen peeking. Yes, you were. What are you doing, man?
I caught you looking up. I caught your head tilted.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, I don't think I really got into
days.
first-person shooters until, I don't know. I think the first one I played was, of course, GoldenEye on Nintendo 64. But I really don't think I really started enjoying them. The first one I played online was Medal of Honor, and
that's a good game.
Let's see, that was 2000 and something. I don't remember. 2008, maybe 9.
Yeah, I remember that game. I think the first actual online multiplayer where you're playing against other people from around the world that I played was Halo 2.
I couldn't get into the jumping stuff. I tried Halo one time, I got killed one time, and I was just like, this ain't the game for me.
Right, Halo, you want to talk about toxic, bro. Halo 3 back in the glory days, there was nothing more toxic than that, bro.
Oh yeah.
You would have little kids up there trash talking you, calling your mama all kinds of names.
Now, was there prox chat on Halo?
No, I don't think there was prox chat during the game.
So it was your own teammates
I think
talking
it was
smack.
No, it was it could have been. I don't know, man. I can't remember. But I think it was mainly in the lobby when you're loading into the game is when
Yeah.
I think that's how it went.
See,
I can't remember.
I think me and Irish's problem is that the internet wasn't even a thing until we were 14, 15
Teenagers.
years old. I mean, I was driving when the internet hit. So, I mean, if that tells you anything, I joke around with my kids all the time and tell them I'm older than Google.
So are you are you talking about the dial-up internet, or are you talking about the Wi-Fi internet?
The dial-up internet.
No,
when I was about 13 or 14, the dial-up internet was the big thing at that point.
I was driving when dial-up became a thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the internet I was probably when it first came out, I was probably 13 years old or something like that.
Mm.
But then when it became a real big, huge thing where it was common for everybody to have it, I was probably 15 or 16.
Yeah. And I remember my mom would always yell, because I'd be on the internet chatting it up on AOL Instant Messenger or whatever it was. And she'd be like, I need to use the phone, Timmy. Get off the phone. So,
and
Get
yeah,
off the
I know you
phone.
remember how complicated it was to text back in the day. Oh
oh
my
my
God, bro.
goodness, dude, with that, like you didn't have a keyboard. You had to push a number like 4 or 5 times to
Was
get the
it the
letter.
T9
And
texting?
yeah, and if you went past it, you had to start all over again. It's like, good
Yeah.
gravy.
So you just that's definitely
I
when for
remember
sure
that.
everybody just called people. You didn't really do much texting back then.
No, you had the
And then,
home,
yeah,
you had the home phone, and you had your little black book with all your little girlfriends' names in it and stuff, and you'd hope to God you'd be talking to one that you really liked, and you'd hope another one wouldn't call in the middle of the call, and oh,
Yeah, and did you ever have the one in there where you had one girl that had, or a few girls that had the same names? You had to draw a little symbol beside to separate them.
so I didn't do the symbols.
you have problems, Irish.
I did the first letter of their last name. Is what I did. The
Smart,
first letter of their
smart,
last name.
smart.
And if they were from out of the town I lived in, I would put the town they lived in. So I knew who it
That's
was.
smart. That's smart.
So, but now I'm
Yeah,
old and married.
Nowadays, they have pictures next to their name.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
and they're all faked with makeup and all this kind of
Right.
thing. They
And I
take
mean,
all
I
the
don't mean to
filters and
talk out of
everything else.
pocket or anything, but back in my day, if you wanted a girl with boobs, you had to date the fat chick.
Yeah, for real, dude.
Like I'm not even joking around. Like you had to date the thick girl if you wanted a girl with boobs. Like it just wasn't a thing back
I
then.
mean, for me, it was like during my high school and junior high and middle school or whatever, there was always that one girl that was kind of developed or whatever,
Courtney
but that
Valente, I'll
was it.
never forget her name.
Yeah, but that was it. I mean, it won't like you had the pick of the litter. There was like one or two maybe.
Right. And every guy in this class was fighting over. Every guy in the class was fighting over. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And it's like me
I
and Donnie were talking about it one day, I think a couple episodes ago, about how our kids today, there's no way, dude, they would have made it back when we were
Oh
coming up.
no, my kids would
oh,
have died.
absolutely,
I'm pretty
absolutely not.
I'm pretty sure my mom killed me once and then brought me back to life, hit me again. I'm just gonna
Yeah,
Yeah.
be honest.
yeah. No, I believe that 100%. The kids nowadays could not last.
No.
No.
Back when we were
I'll
growing up.
never forget I was probably 14 or 15 years old. And I'd stayed out all night. It was my first time staying out all night, not letting anybody know where I was. Then I went to a party and I came home and I didn't see my older brother Chris's car in the driveway when I came in the back door. And my mom stopped me at the stairs to go up to my room and was yelling at me. And I just kind of shoved past her and went up the stairs. And by the time I got to the stairs, I heard this boom, 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 boom coming up the stairs. And I turned around and my brother Chris was right there. And I'm not kidding you. This is the scariest I've ever been in my life. And I've been in some scary situations. That man picked me up by my throat and told me, that is not just your mom. You better remember that, boy. And I have never disrespected my mama ever since then. Ever since then. From that day on, it has been yes, ma'am, no, man. I'm 40 years old. And that is
Yep.
still the way it is.
So, what's the line between disrespect and joking?
I think it's all context, really. I mean, with our family, we joke around and we have a good time and we have a bunch of funny people in our family. But I guess it depends on the context of the conversation, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think that goes into play with any family. Um, it just depends on the situation you're in. What's the context? Is she being serious and like scolding me and I crack a joke at the wrong time and then I get backhanded or whatever? Or are we just joking around?
Well, yeah, and it's also if it's between people that know one another.
Right.
If it's just some random stranger, of course, like, I mean, take me hounding you in the chat all the time about your leg. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen it plenty of times where people are like, dang, Irishman, you're so mean. But you know that it's just all joke and love. It's
Yep.
not nothing personal
Oh
or
yeah,
anything like that.
absolutely.
But to the average person, they may see that as
It's
disrespectful.
disrespect.
And I'm like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah, and it's not.
so,
And people, I think the problem is in today's society. And I'm just going to put it out there. I think that the society is soft. now.
Oh yeah, for
They're
sure.
very, very soft. Um, and the smallest thing can be a disrespect. Irish making fun of my leg is not disrespect. The man knows what happened, and he has voiced many times his respect for me over that. So I would never, ever take anything like that he said. Donny said,
Yeah,
optimistic, chaotic, devil, Pop Tart, Bus, Lando, Perf, any of the guys that we talk to on a regular basis, would I ever take disrespect from that from? Now, if an average person comes into the stream and starts cracking jokes and stuff, and I don't know you, like, I'll let it go for a minute. But at a certain point, when it starts to get aggravating, then I don't really say anything. I usually just text one of my mods and say, "Hey, take care of this," and it's
yeah,
that's the end of the deal.
yeah. I mean, but I've seen it several times where I've gave you a hard time about it.
Oh, yeah. People are
Where
like,
people's like,
"Wow."
"Dang, dude, this guy he's so mean, bro." I'm like, no, man, Dan's like my brother, dude. You gotta,
Right, right, and it's
but not
crazy.
every. I mean, but I get it. Like you said, I mean, there's that line between respect and disrespect, but like you said, context and then also the relationship between the two people,
Right.
it matters.
Yep, it
If it's
absolutely
just two
does.
strangers, then anything could be considered disrespectful, really.
Right, right. Yeah, I never thought when I started playing video games, 30 plus years ago, that I would meet some of my closest friends that I consider my closest friends that I've never even met
Yeah,
through a video game, through a stream.
right.
Like our clique has come together through streaming and through video games, and we've never met each other. Now, do we have something planned for all of us to meet up? Yeah, and it's going to be a great time. But I can remember when I was a kid how people would say, you're wasting your life playing video games. It's never going to go anywhere, blah, 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 blah. And now you have guys making millions of dollars a year playing a video
That's
game.
insane.
And it just,
Yeah,
That's
for
it's,
sure.
insane.
and like I said, I've met some of my closest people that I talk to, and not on the game, but talk to on the phone, text every single day through video gaming.
Right. That otherwise you would have never even
Yeah, I would have never known they
known anything
existed.
about.
Never would have known they
Yeah.
existed. Just randomly popping into a stream one day because I get killed by somebody, and I find them on YouTube, and then I have this
Okay.
amazing group of people.
So here's my story. I mean, I went over it when I think it was on our first episode when Donnie asked me about what got me into the streaming community or whatever. Was I ran into Demon on Ashika, him and Perf together on Ashika. And at the time, I didn't even know there was even a thing for streaming, video games, Call of Duty. I was just oblivious to it because I was, living life and I would just play video games for fun.
Right.
So when I ran into him, one of the guys I was playing with was like, "Hey man, that dude's a streamer." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, that dude's a streamer." I'm like, "No kidding." So I looked him up, and then through him, I met, I found Lando, and then through Lando, I found you, and then Boogie and Pop Tart and Donnie, and everybody else. So like you said, yeah, I mean, thinking back, who would have thought that would have happened?
Right.
So that's crazy, dude. But I think my first interaction with you was through. It definitely came through Lando for sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So that kind of already answered one of my first questions that I wanted to ask you. Um, but let me rephrase this. Okay, so as a gaming streamer, would you say that was something that surprised you the most? As that when you first started, you never thought you'd find the people that you are so close to
So
gaming. I mean, and it's a big world. I mean, you play with people from Australia, from New Mexico. I believe Irish had somebody in his chat last night from Japan, or was it
Yeah,
China? One of the two.
Japan.
From
Yeah,
yeah,
Japan. And you meet these people, and who knows, the guy might come back and continue watching his streams, and next thing you know, Irish and him are playing some DMG together.
I
That's kind of interesting how that happens and works out.
I think that before I ever started streaming, or before I ever had a thought of streaming, I was just chilling out in streams, just mingling with folks and laughing and cracking jokes and having a good time. I think I was in people's streams for probably over a year. I know I was in Lando's for at least almost a year before I ever got a chance to play with him. I really had no interest in streaming. And Lando and Bus reached out to me and were like, dude, you should consider this. And Irish came along shortly after that and, talking me into doing it. And I was like, well, whatever. We'll try this thing. Did I ever think that I'd actually have people watching me play a video game? Not in a million years. Not. And another thing, did I ever think? A lot of people know that my brother-in-law was in a very serious motorcycle accident, and I never thought in a million years that when I did that 31-hour stream of DMZ, that I would have the amazing people that came through and not only donated, but used their time to play with me for the cause. They didn't know me. They didn't know my wife. They didn't know Bo, my brother-in-law, but it amazed me. The love that video games, people have video games that brought it together like that. It's hard to explain. There was many times during that stream that I was completely overwhelmed and I was drained, and I had guys like Irish and Funky and Donny and Optimistic came through there a few times, and Big Boss and Magical and Chaotic, and the list goes on and on of these amazing people that played with me and kept me going through the thing. But not only that, I had bigger streamers that had their own community that took the time out of their day to make sure that they put it in their stream while we were playing what the stream was about that day. And it was baffling that video games made that all happen for me.
Yeah, I remember that, man. That was truly like unforgettable for sure,
Right.
and inspirational for because at times being in this community and stuff like that, there's Dan. I've reached out to you before about, man, I think I'm done with this streaming type stuff just because of the toxicity and stuff like that. But then there's moments like that where it's like, dude, it's kind of worth to keep trying to do this
Right.
because there are good people. I mean, of course, there's bad apples,
amazing people.
but there are some, there's some great people that in this community that try to uplift each other and help each other grow and stuff like that. And those are the ones that you want to try to connect with. Those
Right.
ones that are, just bad apples, you just got to cut them out.
So that's kind of, that would be a good way of networking, getting your name out there, getting people to understand, the seriousness of whatever happened to your brother-in-law, to understand that awareness of it and stuff like that. Being able to, there is somebody here in case you come into a big situation like that. There's people here that are going to back you, support you, and stuff like that. That's
Absolutely.
That's pretty cool. And like you said, you didn't think that was going to happen ever, especially in a gaming community online with people you've never met in person.
No, and I mean,
So that's pretty amazing.
and the fact that these people donated, I feel like a lot of streamers, and I'm not going to streamer bash, I'm not going to quote names, but I feel like a lot of streamers lose sight of the fact that these donations and stuff that come through from these people, these are hard-earned dollars that these people get up every day and go work their butts off for, and then they give it to us, out of the kindness of their heart, and all we're doing is sitting and playing a video game. And I think some streamers don't realize that may not be nothing to them, but that $50 that they just donated, that could be a huge amount to the person that donated it. So for me, it was definitely, with every donation that came in on that stream, it was going to be made a big deal, because somebody got up, somebody went to work, somebody left their family at home while they went and did this job, and then they gave that money to me and my family to help my family out. So I wanted to make sure, and I still do that when I stream now, I want to make sure that they know that's appreciated. It's not necessary. It's not wanted. It's appreciated, but it's never a basis for my streaming. It's not. And I feel like a lot of streamers lose sight of why we stream. I stream because I have fun. Like, I vibe out with all my homies in there, and we joke around and we connect playing a video game that we all love. And it's never been a monetary deal for me ever.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I mean, we
So,
raised over $1,000 for Bo, and I didn't think we would hit 200. But when we hit
I mean, yeah,
$1,000, I was like, I was in tears. I mean, Irish, you and Donnie were there. I was in tears
yeah. I
live on
remember.
yeah.
stream.
That's like I said. I mean, it was inspirational,
I-
dude, for this so-called "you're wasting your life playing video game" community to show up the way they did for
Yeah,
you.
and they did. They showed up huge. We have an amazing gaming community. Are there some bad eggs in there? Yeah. But I
Mhm.
chalk that up to, it's just not everybody's going to be the same person. Not everybody's going to play the same way. Not everybody's going to react the same way. Before I started streaming, I reached out to a couple bigger streamers that I know that I talk to on a regular basis. And I asked their opinions, and I asked them a million questions. And a big shout out to Lando, Perf, and Demon for answering every single question that I had. And I know it had to get on their nerves because I had all these questions, but they answered every single one of them for me and never left me on red, never did reply. And without that guidance, I don't think that I would have ever done it.
Yeah.
So, what's some advice you can give to a new streamer or somebody who's thinking about streaming? What's something that you can give them so that they can take away from the experience of beginning, middle, and end?
Just not give up on it. I mean, my thing is I act the same way whether I got one person watching me or I get rated by Quicks or one of the other big dogs, and I've got 300 people in there watching me. I do the same thing. I talk to my chat. I do that. Just don't give up, because this is a grind. Streaming is a grind. And you have to be willing to put in that grind for it if you want to succeed. It's not always going to be 500 people watching you. It's not always going to be butterflies and rainbows. There's going to be some tough times when you're streaming where it's just you literally streaming and there's nobody in there. My thing would be just push through and keep pushing yourself to meet that goal. The only thing that ever stands in anybody's way of success is themselves. That's it. And I firmly believe that.
100%.
I agree.
100%.
I wouldn't have
I
gotten
like that.
where I've gotten in my life and got where I got with the friends I have, the wife I have, the kids I have, had I got in my own way. My best advice is stay out of your way. If this is your dream, this is your goal, you're the only thing going to stop you from achieving it, period. Nobody else can stop you from achieving your dream or your goal. Only you can. People can talk and they can say stuff to try to deter you, but if you've got in your head, I'm going to do this, then you're going to do it. It may not happen today. It may not happen tomorrow. It may not happen 5 years from now, but eventually you're going to hit that goal and you're going to see, hey, this was all worth it. This was all worth it. I made it.
Man, it's
I
kind of
achieved it.
crazy how me and you pretty much on the same break, because this sounds just like the conversation that I had with Donnie when he asked me about it.
I mean, there's plenty of times, like right now, am I taking a break from streaming? Yeah, I'm taking a break from streaming, but it was the toxicity and stuff of the game that we stream. It got to me, and I needed a break from it. So now I find myself just I bounce. I play with so many people. That's what's cool about it, is I play so many different games. I mean, one night I might be playing Warzone with Big Boss, Magical, Optimistic, and Hex, and the next night I could be playing DMZ with Irish, Donny, and Chaotic. And the night after that, I could be playing Zombies with Funky and Pop Tart and Devil. Or I could be playing golf with Lando. And what I found is you're the one that's making you not have a good time on these games. If you can get past the toxicity stuff and you can get past this feels like work, then you've got it. You've got it licked. Video games are supposed to be fun, and if you're not having fun playing the video game, then it's time to take a step back and figure out why you're not having fun. And
Yeah, so on this topic for me, this is a issue that I've had with the streaming and playing the video games. I love both. I like doing both of them. I love playing the video games. I always have my whole life. And then, like you, I just decided, hey man, why not do it? I mean, I already play the video games. I know a bunch of these people that do stream, so why not just do it too? It was never monetized or anything like that. To me, that never really mattered. Even to this day, I don't ask people to sub to my channel. I just play the game. If they do, great. If they don't, whatever. But my thing is I find it to be stressful at times streaming because you want to entertain your chat, of course, because they're taking time out of their day to watch you, so you don't want to ignore them. But then also you want to have good gameplay and to manage both of them, because who's going to sit there and watch? Like last night was a rough stream, dude.
yeah, I stopped
We
playing.
pretty much
Oh
died.
man.
I was
Oh
We pretty
man.
lurking.
much,
I was lurking.
bro.
But with that
I think
being
we exfilled maybe twice.
but that being said, is you got to find that balance point. I feel like. Do I get aggravated when we have bad games? Yeah, you all have heard me off stream. Like I get aggravated.
Yeah.
But for me, what I figured out, and I don't know if you've noticed the change in my gameplay from playing with me lately, is I just don't care anymore. If you kill me with a one shot on DMZ, whatever, I don't care. And I think I got to the point where I was caring about that because I was worried about, oh, my audience is seeing this, and oh, I'm not getting any clips, and blah, 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 blah. And the minute I stopped and was just like, just play the dang game.
Yeah.
I wasn't worried about it. Here's the thing about streaming. If you got a real community and you've got some real ones in there, we all do. We've got some real ones in our community. They're going to be there regardless. They're going to be there regardless whether you're dying. They're going to be there regardless if you're winning.
Oh yeah.
Just to bring up Pop Tart. Pop Tart has taken care of my Streamlabs and handled my Streamlabs since day one. She is in every single stream, whether she comments or not. She is there. And if I need something done, she doesn't hesitate. She's a real one. She's there, whether the gameplay is good or not. Irish, he's always there. If I need somebody to play with, Donny, he's always there. If I need somebody to play with, you've got real ones in there. And you're not always going to be able to maintain, 50, 100, 200 people watching you because everybody wants to see something different. But those real friends, those real fans, they're going to ride or die with you. Period. I mean, whether I'm playing DMZ or whether I'm playing Paperboy on Super Nintendo, they're going to be there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you know for sure if you hit that go live button on certain people, they're going to be there
Yep.
every time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's cool, man. And it is definitely those, goat people like yourself and Donnie and Boogie and Pop Tart that I know for a fact I can always count on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they won't leave. Like I got to give Boogie a huge shout out. When I did the 31-hour stream, that man stayed up the whole 31 hours with me, and he never left my stream. For 31 hours, that man was with me.
Boogie's a legend.
Irish tried. He stayed up. He stayed up as long as he could. Funky Monkey stayed up as long as he could. Pop Tart, Big Boss. But Boogie was there from the time I started that 31-hour stream until the time I ended that 31-hour stream. He was there. So
That boy was down in them monsters, boy.
Yeah, I mean, I got to give Boogie his props. Boogie's a good dude. Boogie is a legend. I don't think that dude gets enough credit in the DMZ community. Just on my personal opinion, but that dude's a goat.
I agree.
That dude is a goat. He will play with anybody. He will do anything he can to help you. For example, everybody knows my son Fats has been sick for a few days now. That man has messaged me almost every day asking how Fats is. Almost every single day. And that's huge.
Boogie's a good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Boogie, bro, I was having issues playing my game because of the Xbox. I would lag out, so I was stuck to playing the Sheikah only, because if I went to the other maps, I would just lag out, and it wasn't even worth trying to go over there.
Right.
So this man sent me a PlayStation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and those are the type of people we have in our community, and I don't think people really realize that we have those type of people. in the community. Like, just amazing people. Like Irish, we all talk every day. I mean, we have a group chat. We all talk every single day.
Yep.
And it's crazy that I have made that good of friends with people I've never met. And
Yep. That's crazy,
I'm
dude.
not really a people person. I never have been. I'm that guy that wants to be by himself and be left the hell alone. And I don't people well.
Yeah.
And so that's a big thing for me. That's huge.
So real quickly, a shout out to the Boogeyman. You can find him on YouTube. He's a streamer. He plays Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and he's mostly into DMZ. I don't think he plays anything other than DMZ. But
No,
yeah,
I've seen
go
him.
check him out.
He's Boogie's a good dude, man. So if anybody that's
Absolutely.
out there,
Mick, definitely go check out the Boogeyman.
just all you got to do is just type Boogeyman DMZ. You'll find him.
Yep, super funny dude.
Something I wanted to reach back out to. You said games are meant to have fun with, or something similar to that. I had a supervisor once tell me, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. And that completely goes along with what you said about video games are supposed to be having fun. If you're not playing a video game and you're not having fun, well, if you're playing a video game and you're not having fun, then you're not playing the video game right. So that means you got to change it up to where you're having fun.
Right.
So I agree with that 100%. It's interesting how things tie together. So.
All right, man. So, Donnie, if you got any other questions, we're getting close to the limit thing. We can wrap it up. So I'm going to ask Dan is there a quote that you've ever heard that just kind of resonated with you and stuck with you? Me and Donnie have this thing where at the end we always give a quote that means something to us. If you have one, feel free. If not, then me and Donnie can do ours, and we can wrap it up.
I think a quote that always
I'm gonna be honest, I don't have one.
I think a quote that's always stuck with me is, if you keep your face towards the sunshine, the shadows are always behind you. I think that's something that sticks with me a lot.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I like that one.
Yeah, and the one I got is, it'll make my daughter proud because she loves this lady. It comes from Dolly Parton. If you don't like the road you're walking on, start paving another one.
Right.
So if you're stuck doing that job you hate and you have a dream out there, man, I want to do this, I want to do this, like Dan said a little while ago, only you are in your way.
Yeah. I agree with both of those, man. Those are really good. Both of them are good.
Yeah, my daughter, man, she's a Dolly Parton fanatic, bro. She even buys her little baked goods because she thinks it's made by Dolly Parton. I'm like, it's not. They just put her name on the box.
Dude, I think that lady's AI, man. I think that lady's AI. I don't think she's ever going to die. She's,
Dolly Parton,
like 150 now?
Don't jinx it.
I mean, good Lord.
I mean, you sound like my youngest daughter, right? Like, my youngest daughter used to say the same thing about the Queen. Dude, like, oh my God, the Queen, she's never gonna die. And then a week later or the next day,
oh my gosh,
I'm telling you,
Dolly Parton got more plastic on her than Barbie, bro.
Oh, I'm sure, but her heart is made of gold, though. That's a sweet lady, bro.
Yeah, my wife's a huge fan.
Yeah, she's a sweet lady, and I go to Tennessee a lot to the mountains out there, and that's where she's from and all that. And bro, she is like a god out that way. She even got her own amusement park and all, bro.
Dollywood.
Yeah.
Well, Dan, man, I thank you for coming, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me. I've had a good time.
Yeah, it's cool to kind of
come in and spend some time with us, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sharing your thoughts and stuff on this thing for anybody out there that maybe wants to do it or has thought about doing it. It's like I said before, is if you want to do it, just do it. Dude.
Take the plunge.
I mean, just do it.
Take the plunge. Yeah. You ain't got to have $1 million set up. You ain't got to have all that high price equipment. Just get on there and play the game and have a blast.
Yep, and
people will watch you.
And you can't get wrapped up in, oh man, well, I only got this many subs and da 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 da.
Right.
That stuff's not going to happen overnight. I mean, it's going to take a while. But if you just keep doing it, we talked
about that earlier too.
Yeah, if you just keep doing it and keep grinding it out, like Dan said, people will come. I mean, it's just inevitable. It'll happen.
Once again, Dan, Lieutenant Dan Legs, we'd like to thank you for coming. And then, I had fun listening to the conversation and being part of it. It was really, really good. I enjoyed it. to everybody who's listening out there, please go and subscribe. We will have his information for YouTube and whatever other social media he has. We'll have it listed in the description. So, yeah, as always, have a good night, stay safe, and don't overthink it.
Yep. God bless.
Here, everybody.
As we wrap it up, let's keep it real. Another chapter close, another chance to heal. The journey's just starting, got miles to go, and every step we're taking is part of the show. Whether it's highs or lows, the laughs or pain, we're all just learning to dance in the rain. But this ain't goodbye, it's a see you soon. Together we're chasing that next tune. So don't overthink it, just let it flow. Life's a wild ride, we're all here to grow. Keep coming back, there's so much to see. Together we're stronger, just wait and see. Every story shared, every lesson learned builds a fire in us, keeps that passion burned. We're here to lift, to laugh, to inspire, and in each episode we take it higher. You got dreams to chase, mountains to climb, so here's your reminder, you're right on time. Whatever life throws, just keep moving on. You're never alone, together we're strong. So breathe in deep, feel the fire inside. You're not just watching this life, you're along for the ride. When doubts creep in, remember this sound. It's all part of the journey, don't let it bring you down. Don't overthink it, let it all flow. Step by step, that's how we grow. Keep coming back, cause there's more to find. Together we're building that state of mind.